Hey, what's up everyone? CBK here, back with another Marvel Spider-Man 2 related video, and we're also going to need to talk a little bit about what's going on at PlayStation because there have been some massive changes and shakeups to PlayStation in general that I promise is going to tie into what's next for Marvel Spider-Man, possibly Venom, and stuff like that moving forward. So hang with me, we got to talk about these changes with PlayStation before we can get to why this relates to Marvel's Spider-Man. If you don't know already, Jim Ryan, the former CEO of PlayStation, has recently retired and moved on from PlayStation, leaving that void needing to be filled. It has been announced now that PlayStation has hired two CEOs, or I should say promoted two CEOs for PlayStation, those being Hermen Hulst and Hideki Nishino. I hope I pronounced that correctly. These are going to be our two new CEOs moving forward, and I think that's really going to change the outlook of PlayStation moving forward in general. If you don't know already, Jim Ryan was obviously with PlayStation for a very long time and served PlayStation the best that he could, but it seemed like he was heading towards changing the future of PlayStation. It seemed like he really wanted to gravitate towards making those games as a service games and introducing more live service games for PlayStation. But now that he is out, there seems to be some restructuring going on with PlayStation and more of a focus on those narrative-driven games. You guys already probably know that a few months ago there were some massive layoffs going on over at PlayStation. That seemed to be a result of Jim Ryan leaving and the closure of a lot of those projects or studios that were working on those live service games. It seems like Sony and PlayStation are going to go all in on creating those narrative driven experiences that we have all come to love over the past decade or so. Hermen Hulst is the key figure we need to highlight here. He actually comes from the game dev world. He worked over at Guerrilla for a long time and has really worked his way up the chain in PlayStation, which I'm really excited to see what he ends up doing with PlayStation. It seems like a lot of game devs and community managers that work for PlayStation currently are really excited about this move. It seems to be the popular pick from the actual game devs, which is obviously a good sign. But the main reason I really wanted to highlight these moves are really the timing of it, because I believe, and there have been rumors or reports that there's going to be a massive PlayStation showcase happening sometime in May. Now we're almost halfway through May at this point in time, so that should be coming sooner than later. And I can't help but speculate as to why the announcement of the new CEOs happened right now. I'm going to go ahead and speculate that the reason that happened was because they are going to be doing a PlayStation showcase pretty soon, and I would expect Hermen Hulst to be kind of the face of that PlayStation showcase. If you look back at previous PlayStation showcases, Jim Ryan would pop in time to time to say a few words and get people excited about what's next for PlayStation. I now believe that Hermen Hulst is going to be that guy for this PlayStation showcase, so they wanted to go ahead and announce that and kind of give us an idea of what we can look forward to from PlayStation moving forward. The major rumors right now are that PlayStation is really going to go hard in 2025 and beyond. There have been a lot of speculation and reports out there that 2025 is going to be more of a return to form. 2024 was a little bit down. Now, we did have Marvel Spider-Man 2, which obviously was a massive win for PlayStation, but looking at 2024, there really hasn't been a lot of major releases. There definitely have been a few surprise releases that people seem to enjoy, like Helldivers, and right now Stellar Blade seems to be popular within a niche community, I think, but there haven't been any of those heavy-hitting games that we've come to expect. That might have to do with a lot of closures happening. As I said before, like there may have been potential for that multiplayer Last of Us game that was canceled. That possibly could have been coming out this year before it was canceled. There's no telling what PlayStation had up their sleeves before the restructuring of PlayStation a few months ago. Now, how does this tie into Marvel's Spider-Man? Well, obviously, I think that there's going to be a Marvel Spider-Man 2 DLC coming pretty soon. I'm hoping that it happens around the 1-year anniversary mark of Marvel's Spider-Man, meaning sometime in the fall, around October maybe. I would love to see an announcement for a Marvel Spider-Man 2 DLC at this PlayStation showcase. If not a DLC, come on guys, you gotta announce a Venom game. I'm really hopeful that Insomniac is taking the same approach that they did with Marvel Spider-Man and Miles Morales, with releasing a sort of spin-off game 2 years after the release of the original game. If you look back at 2018, we had Marvel's Spider-Man, and then they shocked us with the reveal of Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales, which came 2 years later. I'm hoping that there will be an announcement for a Venom game to come next year, meaning that there would be a 2-year gap in between Marvel's Spider-Man 2 and this smaller scaled Venom game. There is no confirmation that they're working on a Venom game. Obviously, Brian Intihar has teased that they will listen to the fans and what we want from a Venom game. Obviously, that demand is there, especially with a lot of people feeling like we didn't get enough of Venom in Marvel's Spider-Man 2. There's definitely room for a standalone story, I believe, within this franchise. They already have everything that you really need to make the Venom game. You have the mechanics already, you have the character model, you have the city that he needs to be in. Now you just need to create and craft that story and whatever characters you want to use. Obviously, I would love to see them take more advantage of Tony Todd's Venom. Those are my two hopes for this PlayStation Showcase. I know it's asking a lot, but if we could at least get an announcement of a DLC, I'll be so hyped. I'm ready to dive back into Marvel's Spider-Man 2 and explore new things or new stories. There also would be potential for an update maybe on Marvel's Wolverine. That one I'm not so sure of. That game may be a little bit more delayed now that we know that PlayStation or Insomniac suffered that ransomware attack and the leaks happened. That may have possibly delayed the development on Wolverine. I'm not so sure that we're really close to that game coming out. I actually think that it's more possible or more likely that a Venom game would come out before Marvel's Wolverine, but again, I just need to throw this out there. This is not informed. This is just my own speculation. But regardless, I would love to know what your thoughts are on all of the new changes to PlayStation. And are you excited for the future of PlayStation moving forward now that they seem to be heading in the direction that most fans want them to head into? And give me your thoughts on a Marvel Spider-Man 2 DLC. When do you anticipate that coming out? But that's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, I will catch you guys on the next one.